drinking bulletproof coffee since I'm doing keto, which is disgusting, but it fills me up a little bit more, so.
Oh, are you doing keto? Oh my.
Yeah.
I was thinking of trying that. Do you recommend it, or is it...
As far as diets go, it's definitely not bad. The only hard thing about it is that you can't really do cheat days, or cheat at all, really, since it's not about calorie consumption, it's about meeting your macros for it. Like, if you eat too many carbs while you're trying to get into ketosis, if you go above your carb macro, you're just not going to ever end up in ketosis, and the diet's a little bit pointless.
Okay.
But, and if you're in ketosis, if you just have a cheat day where you eat a ton of, like, high-carb food, it'll knock you out of ketosis, and you have to get back into it, which can take a varying amount of time depending on a lot of different factors about your health, like your age and your metabolism and your weight and and your like body fat content and all of this other shit. But I mean, I'm on a diet, and a few days ago I went out to dinner with my mom and I had a poblano pepper stuffed with cheese, wrapped in a skirt steak, smothered in queso. So, and I'm on a diet. So as diets go, it's not that bad. The only hard thing is getting enough fat. That's actually fairly difficult.
Really?
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Eating a lot of fat without eating carbs is pretty difficult. The go-to way to get, like, because if you're not, you have to prepare almost all of your meals. And if you're not preparing meals, you have to, like, be very, very particular and, like, research and find out how many grams of carbs are in shit. So the usual go-to, if you're like, I have no food and I don't want to make food and I don't want to go grocery shopping right now, is just Five Guys, but order it with no bun. So it comes in a lettuce wrap, because
that's well expensive.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's like, I mean, it's not that bad. It's like $7, but still.
Yeah, I mean, when you for a lettuce as well. That's pricey. I've always walked past Five Guys and I've looked at the menu and I thought, not today. That's just like, that's $2 too many for what I want.
Five Guys is really fucking good, though.
Is it up there?
It's up there, for sure. It's better than In-N-Out. Anyone who tells you In-N-Out's better than Five Guys is a moron.
I mean, to be fair, my knowledge of fast food burgers mostly comes from Giant Bomb discussions on their Game of the Year podcast, when they end up talking about, what's the best burger you've ever had? And I admittedly, when I went to Wisconsin on a fantastic, lovely holiday, I said to my friends, right, we're going to Shake Shack.
Shake Shack's incredible. Shake Shack is very good. Yeah,
I found one in Chicago, and it was good.
I would say that Five Guys is comparable to Shake Shack. I don't know if I probably wouldn't say it's better, but I'd say it's comparable.
So there is one downtown in Montreal, so I will probably try there one time as well. There is also one in the train station of Birmingham. So if you ever go to Birmingham, you know there'll be some Five Guys waiting for you.
If you're eating at Five Guys, if they serve it, you should get the fries Cajun style. They're way better than the regular fries.
Isn't Five Guys famous for, like, you can eat peanuts while you wait or something like that?
Yes. That's a weird little thing in Five Guys, is that there's these giant barrels of peanuts, and you get these little, like, cafeteria lunch at school things that you can scoop them into, and you just eat peanuts while you wait. It's super random, but...
I wonder how they deal with, like, peanut allergies, because we'll have to have a warning on the door. Like, because as soon as you step in, there's just mountains of peanuts everywhere.
Yeah, that's actually... Because I didn't think about... Because I was thinking, I mean, they're not hidden. Like, no one's going to accidentally eat the peanuts.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, I mean, probably there's the people who can't be near peanuts. Peanut allergies are fucking spooky. Allergies in general are really weird. Peanut allergies are particularly weird to me, because it's just like... Hey, I'm going to have a snack. I'm going to eat these fucking peanuts. And most people's bodies are like, yeah, peanuts.
Yeah.
But then every once in a while, some person is just like, oh, I guess I'm going to die now. I don't know what this is.
Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah, peanut allergy. I don't know what it is about peanuts. It's so allergenic, I guess.
I really don't know. I used to live in China. I lived there for about 10 months to a year or so. And I was teaching English in a high school, and one of my colleagues, one of the other teachers, was pregnant at the time, or she just had a baby, something like that, and she was like, "Oh, I don't want my child to be allergic to peanuts, so I'm not feeding him any, so he'll be okay." I was like, "No. Listen, I'm a scientist. I've got a degree in physics." I was like, "I'm a scientist. Listen to me. You have to feed your child peanuts now. Don't be waiting. You're doing the worst thing possible. I know you mean good intentions, but you have to feed your child peanuts. Because if you go to China, you are fucked. Oh, pardon me. You are screwed."
Do you not like swearing? Are we started, by the way? Do you not introduce these?
I usually do, but this is going well, so I'll chop it in later on.
All right, sounds good.
And yeah, my dad likes to listen to these, and he told me off for swearing once.
Oh, really?
But you know what I said that he told me off for? I said bloody.
Oh, F off.
He was like...
I'm trying not to get you in trouble.
And he's like, "Oh, Chris, it was a good interview, but it'd be a lot more respectable if you didn't say swear words like bloody." I was like, "Okay, Dad."
I mean, it's an internet interview where you're interviewing internet people.
Yeah, I know, but I've got to try and keep professionalism. I'll bleep it out.
Yeah. You gonna bleep out every time I swear, or does your dad not care about that?
Oh, no, you're okay, don't worry. You'll
Fuck,
be fine.
yeah.
He just yells at me.
Yeah. Alright, sick.
Oh, God.
Hi, Dad.
Yep. Oh, man, I forgot what I was saying now. Anyway.
I forget what we were talking about. The last thing I remember us talking about was burgers. Oh, then we got on the peanut discussion. That's right.
Oh, peanuts, yeah. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, if you go to China, basically... The culture of Chinese cuisine is very set. So if you go to a Chinese restaurant and you say, "Okay, I'm a vegetarian, I can't eat meat, could I please have this noodle dish with no meat?" They go, "Sure thing." But to their minds, if they take a piece of meat and they chop it up small enough, it's not meat anymore.
Really?
Yep, so they think meat is like a steak or a piece of chicken or a slice of something. But if it's like bits, then it's not meat. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. Or if you have a peanut allergy as well, you're buggered, because you can go to a restaurant and you can say, "Okay, if I eat a peanut, I'm gonna die. Please don't give me any peanuts." Like if you have kung pao chicken or something, they'll be like, "Okay, sure, whatever," but they'll still cook everything in peanut oil. Like it doesn't occur to them for the other things, because it's just normal for them.
That's
it's just
so weird.
sitting their way.
I wonder what the mortality rate for. Do Chinese people just not have people with peanut? Do they not give birth to babies with peanut allergies?
I think it's a lot rarer. I think they just feed them straight off.
They just wean them out.
Yeah,
young.
They're not strong enough. Yeah,
we don't hear about them.
Yeah, the Chinese peanut camps.
God,
they're all in the news. Yeah. So yeah, heads up if you go to China and you'll die from a nut.
That's a good PSA.
Yeah, should let the government know about that one. Although I have an allergy to penicillin. Which,
that's unfortunate.
That's one of the most common drugs that's saving lives, from like infections and stuff, or and I can't have it. Although I find it interesting, on my medical records it specifically says banana flavored penicillin.
What?
So
there's flavored penicillin.
Yeah, because I had it when I was a kid. So when I was a kid, like they give you flavored stuff to help the medicine go down or whatever, in the words of Mary Poppins. But particularly, it said on my medical records, banana flavored penicillin.
That's
so
weird. That's so specific.
I
wonder if there are other flavors that you could have.
Maybe
like it was
strawberry's fine.
Strawberry's totally fine. Sucks because strawberry and banana go well together, and you can never have that penicillin mix.
Like me on the medical table, like, "Doctor, we got to get him some penicillin, not banana. Get him the strawberry." Oh, jeez.
That's great. I mean, it's not great, obviously. You being allergic to penicillin has not like improved my life in any way, but that's pretty funny.
I should wear one of those wristbands, like those emergency ones. But I find it clashes with my outfit, so I never bother.
It's just got a banana on it with a no, just a cancel sign, no banana.
Yeah, a bit red X, yeah.
And you just hope they know that means banana penicillin and not bananas.
Yeah, don't feed him bananas, yeah, whatever you do. He's in a comatose state, don't give him banana insulin. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, so I'll do this intro then, and we can start. I guess.
Awesome.
Oh, jeez. Okie dokie. Let me have a cup of tea before this.
drink some of this coffee with butter and MCT oil in it.
Mm. But I haven't done this in months.
It's fucking gross.
Oh.
Yeah.
I moved on to filter coffee recently. My God, it's better than instant coffee. I had no idea.
Oh God, yeah. Is that a thing with a lot of people from the UK? Is instant coffee like something a lot of people drink there?
Oh yeah. That's still it's alongside the pot of tea.
I don't know anyone I don't know any Americans who drink instant coffee. I've had instant coffee one time in my life and it was awful.
It is bad. I mean, I saw a cafetiere and I thought it looked like too much work, so it scared me away.
Yeah, no, I've got a French press that I use to make my coffee, and since I'm doing this dumb keto shit, I'm ruining all of the coffee I'm making by putting unsalted butter and MCT oil in it because I need to get my fat.
Ugh, gross.
It's so gross. It's like, imagine if every time you took a swig of coffee, the coffee kind of tasted weird and a little bit gross, but every single time you got like a ring, like it's like, milk mustaches? Imagine that, but it's oil.
God, butter mustache.
So fucking awful. Butter and oil mustache when you're drinking coffee. I'm amazed I've not gotten any acne on my top lip since I started doing this.
That's really gross. Did you lick it off? Like that?
I wipe it off. I'm not licking up the oil and butter off my... I have some dignity.
Yeah, but you got to reach your macros.
I don't think I'm missing out on that much. I think I'll probably be okay.
Okay.
The hardest part about not being able to meet my macros is that I don't eat bacon, and that's like a huge thing for people on keto.
That does sound... I mean, I imagine like sausages and beef and stuff. They'll still...
Yeah, I eat beef sausages and I eat a lot of hamburger patties with cheese like put inside of them, like with mayonnaise. Keto is a wild diet.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Why are you on this diet? Is it weight loss or muscle gain?
I'm trying to
healthier?
lose a little bit of weight. I'm trying to get more back in shape. I've gained a little bit recently from working on videos and working on that last one. I started to I entered Crunch for that last video I made for like a month straight of editing and collecting clips and doing all this other shit. I should stop playing with this. That's probably being picked up with the mic. And I started eating a lot of like garbage just because it was convenient and I could eat it at my desk, which is really gross. So I gained some weight and I'm trying to lose it. So I just figured I would do keto and start hitting the gym more frequently.
Okay, so you thought you'd eat cheeseburgered stuff, beef balls,
because I felt like losing
mayonnaise
weight.
Yeah, that sounds like a good diet.
It is. It's scientifically proven. Keto works. I've already lost some weight on it, so
I can imagine that you can like only have one of those a day. Like that's it. You're set. Like you've reached your calories. You've had one bacon burger mayonnaise cheese bomb from Five Guys. Then you're done.
Yeah. No. I mean, you have to get a lot of fat. You have to get a lot of fat in.
Okay.
That's why I'm drinking fucking coffee with butter in it. Christ.
You could take the Homer Simpson approach where he doesn't grill butter wrapped in bacon and puts it on a stick.
Probably. I've not watched very much Simpsons. It's my eternal shame. I never watched much of the good Simpsons. I was just first exposure I ever had to the Simpsons was all the modern bad stuff. So I just never watched. But I've seen some of the good stuff, and it is quite good. So I should probably go back and watch it at some point.
I do wonder how that would hold up though with somebody who hasn't watched it as a child or as a younger person. Like, because for me, I watched it as a kid. It kind of hits those chords, you know? I wonder if it still has that impact.
Simpsons appealed to adults as well when it was coming out initially. Like, that was part of the idea, wasn't it?
Yeah. I just wonder now that it's kind of past its heyday in a way. Yeah. If it would still have the, same impact. I'm
curious, but I've seen some stuff from it in that era, and it's quite good. So I imagine it holds up all right, at least.
I have a friend of mine. We lived together it was either 1 or 2 years back when I was studying in England, and now we kind of separated ways several years ago, as people do. But the way we basically communicate now is we just tag each other in Simpsons memes, and that's our entire communication, and it works beautifully. It's a lovely relationship.
Sounds lovely. Sounds simple. That's good.
Exactly.
It's nice
Very
to have
homely.
some simple relationships.
Yeah, just memes. Oh, God, what a lovely relationship. Okay, now I'm going to do the intro.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh, dear. Okay, it's been a long time since I've done this. Hello and welcome to Searching for Pixels. My guest today, as his information says on YouTube, he joined YouTube in March 2011. He currently has 352,000 subscribers, 15.9 million views, 312 backers on Patreon, and is gay enough to start a theatre degree, but not gay enough to finish it. It is none other than Shammy. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you? I wasn't expecting the Twitter bio drop or the patron number drop. The rest of that feels pretty standard. Yeah.
No. Tried to give it a bit of a twang,
Yeah. No, you mentioned, according to my YouTube stats, the channel is from 2011. It's actually my second channel. My first channel was from 2009, and it's gone. Don't go looking for it.
Yes, it's Hi, I'm All Caps, I believe.
No, Hi, I'm Caps Lock is the current channel. If you just click on my channel and you look at the link, it says youtube.com/user/Hi, I'm Caps Lock. The original channel had an even worse name, and I deleted that channel because you couldn't change your name back then.
Okay.
So Hi, I'm Caps Lock was an upgrade from the original name. So
okay.
It was pretty rough.
Are they still available, those older videos, or are they gone? No,
the only thing I have saved from that channel is on an old laptop that is, I think, dead. But the hard drive should still work. I have the first time I ever recorded my voice saved.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a little bit of history. That's
pretty cool.
It's a Halo Reach gameplay commentary that I recorded in 2010.
Oh, wow.
And I recorded it with my onboard Mac microphone, and I was playing I forget what it was. It was one of those Linkin Park-esque bands in the background.
Like Alien Ant Farm or something.
Something like that. I don't remember what exactly it was. I think it was, it might have been like Adelita's Way, or something really random like that. I think it was Adelita's Way. But I was playing that. I was very proud of myself because I was like, I know how to add music in post. And so I wasn't playing it into the microphone. I put it in on iMovie. And
oh my god,
that was my little child voice talking about, not really child, but young voice talking about how I was going to start doing gameplay commentaries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to that video. It's just me playing Halo.
And will it ever see the light of day again, or is that shut away?
Maybe someday.
Okay.
Maybe someday, just as a weird little thing. I might tweet out that video at some point, just like a little snippet of it.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be really, really great. And on your Twitter handle, you've got gay enough to start a theatre degree, but not gay enough to finish it.
Yeah. So
why did you not finish your degree?
I fucking hated college. I hated university. I hated everyone in the theater department except for like 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
It was awful. Among other like more personal reasons, I dropped out. But yeah, no, I hated it. I hated it a lot, which sucks because I like the subject. Theater is very cool to me. Theater's fun. I just hate actors. Actors are the worst people on the planet.
Do you find that you learned some things from your time at university doing that degree that have helped you now for your channel?
Yeah, absolutely. I learned a lot of stuff. I learned how to write a lot of I think a lot of people struggle with when they're writing videos for YouTube is they write videos like they don't need to say what they're writing out loud. And I learned very quickly what I thought sounded good out loud versus what I thought looked good on paper from reading scripts and taking all my acting courses.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I learned some stuff about performance that's pretty widely applicable to a lot of stuff that you can do on YouTube. Yeah.
And how long were you in that degree for?
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, a year and 3/4. I stopped going to my classes in the last semester, so I don't think that counts.
Okay. And then after that, did you pursue any other further education, or was it trying a different avenue?
No, that's when I started doing YouTube more seriously, and when I decided to rebrand the channel into Shammy and take it in a different direction.
Okay, because my first question on my list actually was asking, because I went back and watched your videos, and on your rebranding video, you said you were starting to take YouTube more seriously.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask, was there a catalyst that kind of pushed you towards doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I've never really talked about this anywhere publicly in specifics, but there was I had a really bad experience at university that I would probably rather not go into with too much detail. But I had a really bad personal experience at university that caused a really awful depressive episode that has taken me a very, very, very long time to recover from. And that was the catalyst where I kind of decided I can't be here anymore, and I need to figure something else out that I can do to work and to make money and to not. I don't want to do this. And I mean, working and making money is not something that you should ever have as a goal if you're looking to get a degree in the arts. I didn't want to go to university at all in the first place. I did it because my parents insisted that I go to university, and I just got tired of arguing about it.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I mean, I personally myself, I've always been a bit on the academic side in a way. I've enjoyed the sciences like physics and biology and maths and such. Yeah. But when it came to university, when you're 17 or 18 and you're applying for somewhere to go, in my case, people said, okay, so you got to go to university, but you have to pick a degree that's going to be useful. You know? That's the phrase I kept hearing over and over, is you got to pick a degree that's going to be useful, something that's going to get you to a good job and, you know, security and such, which is very, you know, it's good, it's valid advice. Yeah. But at the end of it, if you're doing something you don't enjoy, then what do you do after? Like
exactly.
I got a bachelor's in physics, and as soon as I finished, I was like, well, I'm never doing physics again.
I know a lot of people who have had pretty much that exact experience. I know people who finished their 5-year degree and is like, I'm excited to never do any of that ever again. God, you get
stuck in it, don't you? And when you finished, or when you came back from your degree, your time at university, did you, when you started committing to your YouTube channel a bit more and putting some more time into it, was that taking up all of your time, or did you have, say, work on the side as well?
I did a bunch of food delivery stuff, primarily because I did Uber Eats and I did DoorDash, and I did this one in Austin called Favor. I don't know where all Favor is.
Favor, okay.
Yeah. And it was just delivery and other on-demand stuff, and it sucked, and I didn't make that much money at all. I just needed to be able to pick my own hours, so I did that.
Okay. And are you doing something similar now, or are you full-time YouTube?
No, I'm full-time YouTube. I can survive on what I'm doing right now if I handle my money like smart, and if I don't spend it on extravagant things, or if I don't buy things I don't need, except for like
Five Guys
every once in a while. Well, Five Guys is food, dude. I'm not like eating Five Guys every day, but I'm eating it like I'll probably eat a Five Guys a week. It's not an extravagant meal. It's fast food. It's like $7.
Exactly $7.
It's not exactly $7. I don't know how much it is specifically.
Is that pre or post tax? Because that's one thing that's been driving me mental post-tax. Here in the Americas.
Yeah, post tax. Yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up that everything is pre-tax here.
It's meant, like, especially, say, from my experience, you go to a bar. Okay, so the drink on the menu says $3.50. Okay, $3.50. Okay, 15% on top of that because of tax, right? Okay, fine, $4 something. Okay, and now another 15% for the waiter. So, jeez,
tipping as well.
Just combine it into one. Awful. It's drives me mental, absolutely mental. Because they do it in Canada anyway. The excuse I've heard is that because there's different there's different provinces. They'd have to change the price according to the tax, and it's too complicated. That is not complicated. For one place, you times it by 12.5. The other, you times it by 15.
Yeah, not that hard. States as well. States all have different tax rates. Texas is actually one of the lowest, I think. It's like 7-8% for
that's pretty
sales tax. Yeah, it's not that bad. It's annoying that it's not that you have to do math every time you want to buy something to figure out how much it actually costs, but I fucking hate math.
So do I. I got a damn degree in it.
You've got a better excuse to hate it than I do.
Yeah, you give me some integration or differentiation, then I might have a crack at it. But if it's mental arithmetic without a calculator, then we're done.
Yeah.
So you started taking YouTube more seriously. You had this this rebrand about 2.5 years ago. Have you noticed a change in your character of Shammy over time? Because as to my knowledge, like Shammy, your original character, he was a bit not aggressive, but slightly cynical. A bit
I would
on the sharp.
I would definitely describe Shammy's initial character as being more aggressive. No, that has been the case, and that is very intentional because this wasn't initially my goal when I created the character of Shammy. Initially, when I created the character of Shammy, I just wanted a character I'd be able to speak through, that I could project traits onto that I thought were funny that I don't necessarily have. But then I realized I had the opportunity to use it as a way to kind of, it sounds pretentious, but like improve myself as a person. And so when I started doing the reviews, I made a conscious decision to turn Shammy into a character that I would project parts of my own personality onto that I think are negative traits of myself, and and try to use that as a way to confront things that I don't like about myself and try and improve as a person. And when I feel like I have mostly confronted and accepted or whatever, if I feel like I've worked through an issue, I'll kind of take that away from Shammy and like peeling back layers and layers, and eventually it will be mostly just my personality speaking through a character in like an exaggerated fashion, but at the moment it is still a lot of negative attributes of my own personality that I exaggerate for the purpose of making it easier for me to deal with and talk through them. And also because I think that a lot of my sense of humor is self-deprecating, just generally speaking. So it's a really fun way for me to make fun of myself in a way that I think is funny. But another issue, a big part of, I initially wasn't going to do the peeling back thing, really, since I felt like it would be weird and inconsistent. And I don't want Shammy to just be me because I think I'm kind of boring. But no, I started peeling them back a little bit more and more because I realized how much a lot of people weren't getting a lot of what I was doing. And to no fault of their own, it's because a lot of it doesn't read if you don't know me. So a big the classic example that I always think of, the classic example, God.
Oh
no,
God! Example one.
No, the example,
the go-to,
go-to example. Fuck me. No, the example that I always think of when I want to explain this to someone is in the original No Man's Sky video that I make a joke at the beginning where I say, I know I'm very late to the party to talk about this game, as it was released on the 12th for PlayStation and on the 20-something for adults.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that joke. And everyone reads that as the surface level
one.
joke of just like, haha, PlayStation's for babies and PCs for the real men. When the joke I'm actually making there is, it's so absurd to imply that someone's maturity is gauged by the box that they play their virtual toys on, and how childish it is to deride someone from whichever box they happen to choose. That's meant to be like an ironic joke about how stupid that statement is, but
it's like a stupid joke for a stupid statement. Like, they go hand in hand, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was going for, but it really doesn't read to most people, which again, I understand, because that's indistinguishable from a lot of the shit that is out there on YouTube. And I think sarcasm, one of my biggest problems is that I think sarcasm is way funnier if I don't make it really obvious that it's sarcasm. It's like saying something super dumb but really straight-laced is really funny to me.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the time it's just people thinking that I'm saying really stupid shit seriously.
Oh god.
Or really awful shit, like unironically. And I can't complain, because that's my own fault and how I think it's funny to deliver that. I don't like being like, oh, you know, like wink wink. I think that's kind of lame. I think it's way funnier, which is part of the character, because that's me being sarcastic, but the character is being serious.
Yeah. Oh god, I know exactly what you mean. I've got a bunch of people who just think I'm a douche.
No, I am a douche.
I've made
but
a
I got
joke,
a lot of people
and they
thinking
just...
I'm a bigger douche than I actually am. I think what I'm trying to get at.
Oh god, it's like when I get a group of friends, I keep a hold of them because I understand when I'm making a joke.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. That's most of my friends. Most of my friends, I talk to very few. Like, I talk to very few YouTube people. I talk to like 4, I want to say, regularly.
So it's like the podcast gang.
Well, I don't consider most of the podcast gang to be YouTube people. It would be the YouTube boys that are on the podcast, and then also Niall, Pyrocynical.
Okay.
Yeah. I talk to Niall, I talk to Mandy, I talk to Ed, that's Punk Duck, and I talk to Brendan, who's Brendaniel. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Oh no, I talked to Jake Nova Canoe. I'd barely consider him a YouTuber because he barely does it.
Okay.
But
yeah. But they get you by now.
Yeah. No, most of them got me very quickly. Mandy and Ed were like immediate. Like, we started talking and then we kind of immediately hit it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you gave that example of your joke about the PlayStation No Man's Sky, have there been any other instances of where you've tried to attempt a joke or a type of humor and it's come back to bite you a bit later on? Maybe you've had to clarify something?
Yeah, on the most recent video I did that, when I super duper oversimplify how your skill level is determined what determines your skill rating really in Overwatch. Because I said the biggest difference between me and the real gamers is how well they can click on the badmin. And that's just meant to be a comedic oversimplification, because my point that I'm making is that the difficulty with Overwatch compared to the difficulty with Paladins, or Gigantic to a degree, would be that Overwatch has a lot less depth in how you can operate strategically, and it's less about outsmarting your opponents, and it's more about outpositioning, and it's more mechanically focused, which I get. I've always been a bigger fan of mechanics being utilized in movement. I find that more interesting than mechanics being utilized on how well you can click on the badmin. But that's meant to be a joke where I'm overly simplifying what is actually the skill required to play Overwatch, and then that is what every fucking person in the comments who was arguing with me about that stuff, they all latched onto that, and they started saying, you clearly have no idea what you're talking about if you think that aim is the only... You gotta know about fucking ultimate. You have to understand how to... It's... Holy fucking shit. I know that's a joke, but in retrospect, like, watching it back, I'm like, I could see how someone wouldn't understand that, but I feel like when I'm saying how well you can click on the badmin, I want to think that most people can intuit that is not a serious comment.
No, It's a joke.
Yeah.
I find it very surprising how defensive people will get.
Yeah,
for things like that. I mean, maybe I'm naive, but it still surprises me.
I think one of the biggest things I learned from that video is I'm never going to critique a competitive game ever again, because
oh really?
Because if you're not top 500 in that game, it doesn't matter what points you bring up about the actual design of the game itself. If you don't know literally everything about the game and its meta and all this other stuff, if you can't name every single possible comp that you run in that, people are just going to yell at you. And there's no point, because the only reason I wanted to talk about that really is because I think it's interesting to look at that subgenre and kind of, because I thought I was going to really like Overwatch when I was seeing all the trailers and stuff. And there's a now unlisted video on my channel where I talk about when Overwatch came out. I made my first review. I'm doing air quotes right now, which is really bad. But I am talking about how when the game's beta came out, I played it and I was like, wow, I fucking hate this. And it wasn't even because I was bad at it. I was doing fine. It was when everyone was like figuring out the game. I just fucking hated it. I did not like it at all. And I've always thought it was interesting why my opinion is so different from most people's, especially when I found out I didn't even try Paladins for the longest time because I figured it was just going to be like Overwatch and I was going to hate it. That's not entirely true. I tried Paladins fairly early on. I played it in closed alpha for a bit. And I liked it. I like Paladins. I like Paladins better than Overwatch. I won't like say definitively that it's a better game, because I think that's a useless statement. But I like it better, and I always wanted to really hunker down and try and explore what it is that makes me feel that way. And I figured, and that's usually how I determine when I want to make a video on, is me trying to figure out and explain why I feel a certain way. I'm not trying to tell anyone that Paladins is better than Overwatch. I'm just saying I like Paladins and I don't like Overwatch, and they're similar games, and I think it's interesting to look at the differences between the two and find out why I would like one and not like the other.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Personally, I've had this thing for the past few years where I've been trying to essentially kind of rekindle a flame for the FPS genre, in the sense that you'll probably have empathy for this, is playing Modern Warfare back when that first came out.
Yeah.
That, to me, that was like kind of the pinnacle. That and Halo around that time.
Halo 3 was the pinnacle for me.
So I've been trying to essentially get that back again, and I have not been able to do it. And I can't figure it out. Is it because the games have changed to something which I'm not akin to, something I don't enjoy? Can I not get into this Battle Royale genre, which is the next big thing? Is it because I'm older and my tastes are changing?
Have you played Titanfall 2?
That was a very good game.
Titanfall 2 is brilliant. It's one of, if not the best FPS game I've ever played, I think.
And speaking, I did watch your video on that, and that was a fantastic video. I did love it a lot. I did want to ask, what is your opinion on Apex Legends?
It's pretty good.
If you have played it.
It's pretty good. It's got a lot of the same problems that the Battle Royale genre or mode or whatever the fuck has, but it solves some of them as well. And it's got very toned down, but still very toned down movement compared to Titanfall, but the movement is still a lot better than the movement in pretty much any other Battle Royale. I can't think of a Battle Royale that even really compares in terms of movement, especially if you're playing like Pathfinder. And the classes are super interesting. That's something that was in Realm Royale, but it's a lot more interesting in Apex Legends, I think. And it's not as good as Titanfall, but it's good.
And to your knowledge, are people still playing Titanfall 2? Is that something people can jump into now? Or is that kind of...
Titanfall 2 has gotten a pretty decent player boost from Apex being so successful, from people who are like playing it and then remembering, oh yeah, Titanfall 2 is fucking sick. I'm gonna go play that. And also people playing Apex and being like, everyone keeps on talking about how Titanfall 2 is better than this, and I want to try that. Titanfall 2, it's not like a super populated game, but you can find games, and even if you wouldn't be able to find games, it's worth the price of entry just for the single player content alone. That game's got an incredible campaign.
Yes, it's I think one of the points that you made in your video that I resonated with were the way that it uses the mechanics of the game to build the relationship between you and what's the name of the Titan?
BT. How dare you?
I was getting confused with that and Nier Automata. I was thinking they sound similar.
Yeah, that's fair.
2B.
I played Nier Automata for the first time recently.
Yeah, what do you think?
The game fucking rules.
It is
such
damn
a good game.
isn't it? It is fun. Did you play it multiple times or just one playthrough?
I'm not an idiot. I played through all 4.
Okay.
I'll say that.
Okay. Fair enough.
I've got 86% completion in that game or something.
Oh, nice.
I love that game.
Did it have the Metal Gear Solid-esque vibe for you as well? Because to me, it kind of... not particularly Rising, but I was thinking more, the narrative and the overall art, the structure of the story and that kind of thing. To me, it felt kind of Metal Gear-esque. Like, if you like Metal Gear Solid, you're going to like Nier Automata.
I think it's I haven't played very much Metal Gear Solid at all. That's a genre. That's not a genre. That's a fucking franchise that I'm pretty naive about, so I couldn't really say.
I was watching your video regarding Overwatch and Paladins and such, and one thing that I particularly liked about it was the way you structured the video. So the way that I saw it is you had this comparative narrative going on, and in the end you started talking about Gigantic.
Yeah.
Yep. And the way you structured that, building up all this hype and talking about how good the game was and the different types of melee units is way more than this game and blah blah blah, and then to hit them with the wall that the game no longer exists.
That's another thing. There were 2 things in that video that people really didn't understand what I was saying because I didn't really convey it all that well.
Okay.
The bit at the end where I'm talking about Gigantic's failure, I at one point talk about... So I talk about the Steam reviews that the game was hit with right as it launched on Steam for the first time, of people who didn't read the minimum spec requirements, who didn't meet the minimum spec requirements, downloading the game for free and then opening it and the game says you can't play this because you don't meet the minimum requirements, leaving negative reviews and tanking the game's user score right when it came out, and being like, shit like this is what makes me fucking hate gamers, and I'm sorry to hit you with a hard R out of nowhere like that, but I'm not mincing words on that one. First of all, clearly a joke, clearly just me wanting an opportunity to say I hate gamers and sorry for hitting you with gamer with a hard R, because that's a stupid fucking sentence. It's such a dumb joke, but that's what I was going for with that. But a lot of people thought I was entirely blaming gamers for, like, quote unquote not giving the game a chance, and no, I tried to go through as much of the game's like development woes and history, and there was mismanagement on Motiga's part in terms of how Gigantic was run. Like, there was weird stuff that they wouldn't budge on. Like, people were like, hey, can we see health numbers? Like, can we see how, like, a number for how much health we have? And they said no, which makes no fucking sense. And, like, the amount of damage that things did was not listed anywhere because for some reason they didn't want to. And I don't know what the reasoning for that was at all, because they would never even explain their reasoning for it. So there were issues with the development of Gigantic. Gigantic's not a flawless game. It's just a game that I really, 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 really fucking liked, and I wanted to get that across. So, of course, I'm not going to go into all of the imperfections in detail because the video is already 50 fucking minutes long, and I don't think it's that important to the greater point that I'm trying to make. It seems
like looking back on your videos, the average, like on average, the length of your videos is going up and up and up.
I'm trying to cut that down.
I was going to say, is that on purpose, or is that just how they end up turning out on...
The second most recent review I did was the annual review of No Man's Sky. That one's super long because I was like, I want to cover all of my bases because I never want to make another fucking video about this game. And that's also me trying to make a point when I'm talking about the story and I'm doing like all these different interpretations of it, me trying to make a point like, look, if you really try, you can find depth in anything if you're trying to brute force it into it. That is possible.
Yep.
That doesn't make the thing itself deep to me. And I think that this game is either it's too broad and also weirdly shallow and it's not getting at a lot. Regardless, its message is too unfocused and all over the place. And even though I could like potentially find all of these varied and ridiculous meanings from everything, I don't think that means that they're I mean, then you get to this whole other discussion about the philosophy of making art, and I do think that whether or not something is profound is entirely down to the reader. I think something can be profound entirely on accident.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a good example of that is The Room. I think The Room is a very accidentally profound movie about how men view relationships with women. That's an entire other discussion, but
yeah,
that would be a very long one. I don't think we should talk about that one on this podcast because we'll be here for a while.
Is The Room is that the one that came before Saw? I kind of forget.
You don't know what The Room is? Tommy Wiseau?
Oh, is that they did a hang on,
the best
the Disaster Artist,
best bad movie of all time. Yeah, Disaster Artist. Disaster Artist is a really bad adaptation of that book, by the way. If you've seen Disaster Artist,
I've only watched Disaster Artist. I haven't watched.
You should watch The Room. It's a lot better than Disaster Artist because it's way more entertaining. No, and I that's a whole other discussion. But I was saying I don't think there's anything to this. This just seems like them shotgunning shit at the wall, and I'm not getting anything really interesting. I'm not getting anything that interesting from this without trying to force myself to.
Yeah. And
that was me trying to make a weird, slightly aggressive comment about media criticism. And so that one wound up being pretty long. And then the most recent one, the Paladins Overwatch Gigantic video, is... Oh, fun fact about that video. When I start talking about Gigantic, a lot of people think that's an ad. I've gotten a lot of shit for people saying that I'm shilling for that video in this review for other competitors.
Gigantic.
They stop watching.
What's Gigantic?
Gigantic's the last game that I talk about in that video.
No, like they thought you were advertising the game. They thought I was
advertising the game. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant like there was like something on the market called Gigantic, like a performance enhancing pill or something.
They thought I was shilling for the game Gigantic, yeah, because they didn't watch.
Why could you say you like a game?
Yeah, they.
Oh my god.
I mean, because
were
of
you
how
shilling for Titanfall 2 as well?
with how I introduced Gigantic, I can sort of see it where I'm like, I don't think either of these games really reaches the potential that I think hero shooters have as a genre. Luckily, I know a game that does. It does sort of sound like it. I can understand it from that perspective, but I would never fucking review something for money. I find it. I would. If I was going to review something that if I received a copy for free, I would say so. And if I was being paid, I wouldn't review it. I would never do that. You cannot be unbiased if you're getting money for a review. That's ridiculous.
The biggest conflict of interest.
Yeah, the conflict of interest is a better way to say it because you're biased anytime you review anything. Fucking, what was I talking about? Oh, and that's 3 games. The reason that one is long is because I wanted to really deep dive into why I felt that way about those games, and I also had 3 games to talk about. So,
and with Gigantic, I could describe it as it's like a game that's kind of gone under the radar in a way. Mm-hmm. Are there any other games that you feel people may be missing out on right now that say you're enjoying that people aren't particularly aware of?
That's a really good question. I mean, I've just been playing. I've been playing a bunch of old shit recently. I've been trying to catch up, playing stuff that because when I'm making a video, after I make a video, I'll usually just play other games for like 1 month or like a few weeks or something, and then I start really getting into. So when I'm working on a video for a game, very quickly, I'll figure out. I'll start feeling very guilty if I play other games because I feel like I'm not working on the video as hard as I should be. So when I was working on that Overwatch Paladins video, I basically didn't play anything for like 8 months other than Overwatch and Paladins, and I wanted to fucking kill myself by the end of it. And that's been happening for that's usually the case for most of my videos. So lately I've just been, while I'm working on this video, I've been going through and playing games that I missed. And so I haven't really been playing anything under the radar, except for, I guess, Dujana. Dujana is a game that pretty much no one, I don't think, has heard of.
I can't say I've heard of it either.
Super weird and super artsy, but I like it.
Ooh. Dujana.
Dujana. Dujanah.
Oh god, it does look artsy.
It's very artsy. The animation is all done through claymation.
Oh wow, but it's got good reviews.
Yeah, it's really, really, really. I mean, if you don't like artsy games, you're not going to like it. But I really liked it because I'm pretentious as shit. So
I mean, he did do like half a theatre degree, so
I did do that.
Yeah.
So Dujana is really good. I played Hollow Knight recently. I finished that with I got 105% completion on Hollow Knight.
Oh my god.
That game fucking rules. That game's so good. And right.
So I just want to interrupt here. I'm on Dujana's Steam page,
right.
And the description says, "Would you slut drop for grandpops?"
Yeah.
Does that sum it up?
No, not really.
I'm looking at this and I'm very confused. I'm gonna have to give this a go.
Yeah, it's short. It's a very quick play. I played Hellblade recently.
I've been meaning to play that. I saw a video. I think you recommended the YouTuber who does a video about mental illness in Hellblade.
Sid's video on that.
Sid, yep.
He talks about Hellblade and he's got the most interesting video about Hellblade, I think, by far, because he actually suffers from psychosis, and so he talks about it with a level of understanding that not really anyone else who does that sort of video has. Like, no one else really has that context or that perspective and understanding of the issues at hand that he would. And it's super duper interesting. And also he's one of the best people at making those types of videos. His production pipeline is ridiculous. But yeah, that video is really good, and Hellblade is super good. I really liked Hellblade. It's just nice. It's just nice to go through and play video games that I really like, and if I don't like it, I can stop. it's a really understated thing. Is if I'm not enjoying myself, I'm just just stop.
Just turn the game off.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I've been running into that problem with or a particular problem. I'm playing Night in the Woods at the moment.
Yeah.
It was on sale on Steam, I think, a few days ago, or may still currently be on sale. I've actually put off watching your video comparing Life in the Woods.
I hope.
Life is Strange.
No, hang on. Fun fact: when I was originally making that video, I didn't know how to title it because it was the first time I ever did a video about two games at once, and I came very close to calling that video an actual review of Life in the Strange.
Oh,
which would have been funny, God. But I don't think anyone would have watched it.
Oh, I'm just thinking of South Park when you say strange. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, that would have been great. Yeah. Well, there's Life is Strange 2, so...
Yeah.
You might be able to get away with
Maybe.
it. If they do a Night in the Woods 2. You never know.
Yeah, never know.
No. Oh, God. So I started playing Night in the Woods. I put off watching your video about it in case there's spoilers, which there almost certainly will be.
Yeah, there's some.
But there's one thing that I find slightly disconnecting about it. Is I've heard from reviewers and I've heard from other people that it's a narrative about, say, growing up and not knowing where you're going and not knowing what you want to do and trying to find yourself in a way in the later teens, younger adult stage of your life. But I find there's such a huge disconnect between the narrative that it wants to portray and the way the characters interact with each other that I just can't get past right now. Like, May has this notebook filled with like doodles that would be from a 13-year-old or something.
That's intentional because she's a female version of a man-child. I read that as a signifier of her being incredibly immature, which is
Okay,
reflected
that's
in the rest of her personality. Like, a big thing with May is that May doesn't want to grow up.
Okay,
And she's
interesting.
trying to hold on to all of that stuff, and it's like when she finds out all of her friends have jobs, she tries to ask them to go and do stuff while they're working, and they're like, I'm at work.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to grow up, and she doesn't want anyone around her to grow up because of stuff that I can't talk about without spoiling. But a lot of people don't care for Night in the Woods, and I can understand that, but it's a game that it reflected a lot of my personal experiences, especially with college and university stuff, and struggling with a lot of mental health issues, and that kind of lethargic attitude and worldview in a way that really resonated with me. It's one of those games that I really like, but if someone says that game's bad, I'm like, maybe to you, like, I can understand that.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm trying to project myself into the situation, but there's this dissonance between how it's doing it and how I want it to do it.
Yeah,
is causing the issue. So maybe if I look at it in a different light, I can get more out of it.
Yeah, the game also has some other greater problems that I didn't really talk about in my video, which I probably should have since it's supposed to be a review. But I mostly just talked about in Night in the Woods the stuff that I thought it did well, that I really related to personally.
Yeah. And another reason that's kind of I'm being taken out of the game in a way is I have a dead pixel right in the middle of my screen.
I mean, you can't really blame the game for that.
Yeah, but its loading screens are black, and I think it's a stuck pixel, and so it's always white. So I keep seeing it all the time, like, argh! But it's not directly in the middle. It's in the middle it's in the middle, but to the right. So like it's not covered by a cursor or a crosshair.
Yeah,
it's always there, and it's driving me absolutely balmy.
Yeah, that would distract the shit out of me too. Luckily, I don't have any stuck pixels on my monitor.
I can't figure out how to get it out, but
there's a way to. I don't remember how.
I've tried. I've looked online, but nothing's really happening. I don't know if it's a dead one that's stuck bright or.
If it's dead, it should be black.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look into this because it's driving me mental. And I bought this laptop in England, so I can't really send it back to get repaired.
Yeah, right.
Oh god.
Everyone knows there's no computer repair shops in Montreal.
No, I'm done for. So you've said before on previous interviews you've done. I listened to your interview with Dope Talk, in preparation for this, and I believed you mentioned that you want to get involved more in different types of writing. Different avenues for writing other than just games.
Yeah.
Have you started any projects since you've last talked about that? Are you allowed to talk about it?
I was already working on some projects, but I've still been working on most of those same projects, as well as a few other different ones. I'm trying to get back into drawing because one thing I want to do is I want to write and illustrate just like a webcomic that I would, or a little short, like maybe not short, but like a one little contained comic that I want to make and just distribute online for people to read.
Okay.
No monetary incentive for that at all. I just want to do that because I think it'd be fun. And I've been wanting to get back into drawing for a while because I did that a lot growing up, and I fell off toward the end of high school. And I've been working on a few other secret projects.
Okay. And they're going well?
Yeah. No, they're developing. Like one of them is treatment for a movie that I want to make at some point. That's far off. That'll be after I stop doing YouTube. But it's an idea that I've been developing that I think will be very, very fun. And then there's a book.
And what do you said before, like YouTube isn't the goal.
No.
For now, like, what is your end goal? Because would you describe yourself as an entertainer rather than like a reviewer?
No, if I'm not on once I'm off YouTube, I'm not. Well, I mean, I'll because that's hard. I want to write I consider when I explain to people what I do for a living, and this is pretentious considering that I make videos about video games, but when someone asks me what I do, I always tell them I'm a writer because I consider myself to be a writer. I don't like the term influencer or even YouTuber. I do not like the term YouTuber.
Okay.
I call myself a writer, and I want to write. I want to direct stuff. I know I want to write and direct a film at some point in my life. That is a thing that I really, really want to do. I want to, I would like to perform stand-up at some point. I would like to, I want to write a published book. I want to write a novel.
Mm-hmm.
And a few other like random things. I don't want to be. I think a big issue that I have and that I'm going to have professionally after YouTube stuff, after I'm done with YouTube stuff, is I don't want to do or be one specific thing. I want to do a lot of different things that are kind of all over the place. And I think that's going to make it hard to have a career doing that sort of stuff, because usually people are writers, though they're directors, they're actors, they're comedians, and there's some overlap, but I want to do like a bunch of different things. There are people who do that, obviously, but I don't know. I just want to make shit.
Yeah, it sounds rather akin to Joseph Anderson in a way, because he started off as a writer more than a YouTuber, didn't he? Because I think he published a few books.
Yeah, he's
some fancy
a few
books.
self-published books on Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. Have you noticed your style changing over time? Your writing style after you've had YouTube as a platform, and so how have you noticed that changing?
I've noticed myself improving. I noticed myself using fewer things as crutches or leaning on certain cliches in my writing style that I had initially. A lot less. Because I mean, I don't know if I talked about this I've talked about this in like these terms in any of the other interview stuff I've done, but a lot of what I'm doing YouTube for is I'm doing YouTube as writing practice.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's a lot of writing practice. I care about the stuff I'm writing. I'm not making videos about stuff that I'm completely apathetic about for the sake of it. I only talk about stuff that I feel like I want to talk about, and then I try and talk about them in the most interesting way that I can. That is the way that I most enjoy writing about it. So it's a lot of, I think I'm better at picking the right words when I'm talking about stuff. I had an issue early on when I was writing where I have a really annoying, and I'm not going to say it's like super duper good, because I don't think it is. I'm constantly, the people I'm talking to constantly say words that I end up having to look up, but I have kind of an annoying vocabulary.
Okay, right.
Because my whole thing was I like to use the quote unquote the right word whenever I can, because there's so many different variations of words that you can use in any given place or way. And I would use the right word even if it sounds like a fucking 50-cent word or whatever. Like I'm trying to cash in on my 50-cent words to make my videos sound smarter. It's not, I've never written with a fucking thesaurus or anything dumb like that, but so that's something that I've gotten a lot better about. I've gotten a lot better about reeling myself in and using short words when short words work.
Yeah.
Which is something that a lot of amateur writers, obviously myself included, because I'm talking about how that's an improvement I've made, but a lot of amateur writers struggle with that. Is if a short word works, use it.
Yeah.
Like if a short word works and you're not losing anything by using a short word instead of a long word, it probably reads better.
And does that translate into sounding better as well?
Oh yeah, a lot of the time. When someone is speaking, if they start throwing out, like I said, 50-cent words, I tune out because I think they're trying too hard. Even though that's how I initially wrote. I didn't even really do that consciously trying to sound smart or anything. It sounds so try hard when you say it out loud. And that's another thing that I picked up on it fairly quickly that sounds weird when you're speaking out loud. Thanks to the acting thing, because I noticed when I was reading my own scripts and I was listening to it in videos, I was like, none of this sounds like any of the stuff I was doing while I was acting in at university or anything. And I realized, oh, it's the fucking words. No one talks like this. And if I'm playing a character, I should probably write that character in a way that people are talking. And so that became like another attribute of Shammy that I did on accident, that he had initially, where he just talked like such a fucking asshole.
Oh god, yeah, I've heard from different people as well. Or there's one quote that I think it was Giant Bomb Jeff Gersman saying, or maybe I don't know if he said it specifically, but something I took away from something he was talking is the people on YouTube now and those in the video game media, the ones that have risen to the top are those who have a passion for writing but enjoy video games, rather than those that say have a passion for video games and enjoy writing. If that makes any sense.
I feel like I have a passion for video games, but I definitely have more of a passion for writing as a creative. I care more about writing than games. I don't know if I would say I have a passion for writing and I like video games. I think I really, really, really like video games, and I care. I've grown, because initially my reviews were just supposed to be like haha funny reviews, and I do some like critique of the games that I'm playing, or like criticism or reviewing itself. And then it evolved into me talking a lot more, like, and more in depth, and I go into more detail about the things about the game, and I look at them more critically, and that's something I grew to really like doing. I really like talking about and thinking about video games in that way, and I didn't really do that before I started making the videos. I feel like I've always been very passionate about writing. It's something I've always really, really enjoyed doing, and it's kind of always what I wanted to do. So I'm very glad that I am currently working a job where I can do that, among other things, for a living. And so I already loved doing that, and I've grown to love and feel very passionate about the actual game design and thinking about games and game critique and all of this stuff. I think it's interesting to look at how things work and what the knock-on effects of even the smallest design decisions are, and how the mechanics of a game and the gears and stuff interact with one another. I think it's really interesting.
And was there ever a point when you started developing your writing style that really caused your channel to take off? So that caused, like, say, spikes in popularity? Was it something that you noticed that you changed in your approach, or was it other different factors?
It was the videos that I put out that got my channel noticed. The big one that got my channel noticed was an actual re-review of No Man's Sky.
Okay.
And I don't know what it is about that one. I think that one was just people were interested because that was when the update came out, and people were interested about the update, and I realized no one is talking about this, and I talk about, in the original No Man's Sky video, I am one of the only people in that who made a review of No Man's Sky where I didn't try to vilify Hello Games. Because I talk about in that video, I'm like, listen, this game's a clusterfuck, and the advertising and everything leading up to it is a complete mess of lies, but I feel very strongly that there's probably a lot of stuff that we are not privy to that resulted in that being a thing. And every time I would see Sean Murray in interviews and stuff, I would be like, I don't think this guy's malicious. I just think he doesn't fucking realize what he's doing. And he's talking about what the game, it feels very, and there's also, in game development, there's a very good chance that a lot of that stuff was due to weird contractual limitations and stuff. And I was like the only person. Okay. I played devil's advocate at a point in that video for Hello Games specifically, even though I thought No Man's Sky was a raging dumpster fire and a terrible game. And so I said, I think this game is bad, but could be good at some point, because I think Hello Games actually gives a shit about it, contrary to how it seems. And then the update came out after all of that radio silence, and I didn't see anyone else talking about it, and I was like, I'm interested in this. I'm sure I'm not the only one. And so I decided to make another video where I talk about the update in a lot of depth, and I went, this is still garbage, but they are updating it for free, and the silence, the radio silence before they did this, that lends a lot of credence to my theory that they aren't malicious, they're dumb.
Incompetent.
It's incompetent and dumb. And so and so I went on this little tirade at the end where I'm like, I think that this game will eventually be good, but it's still not there. And then I wound up doing an annual review of No Man's Sky, because there was the Atlas Rises update, which is a huge update. And I started hearing people being like, this is good. The game's good now. And then I played it and I went, no, it's not. I want Hello Games to improve this game, and I want this game to get to a point where it would be good, because I think that they care a lot about it, and I would like for the game to reflect that at a point. So I wanted to talk about not quite there. And that was kind of me trying to close that, because a big part of why I made that video is because people were asking me to. A lot of people were asking me to, and at that point I did still have I had an interest in the game and its development and its updates and everything. So I decided to make another video on it, and I did, and it went well. I think that video is one of my strongest, probably. I think the first 10 minutes are pretty weak, but after that, I think it's pretty strong. But yeah, no, I'm pleased with that video, how it came out.
And let's say you've made a video, you don't have anything to worry about. You've got your a month off or so before you start thinking about anything else.
I don't take a full month off. I take like 4 days off after I finish a video.
Okay. So let's say you got your 4 days. You got your Tuesday till Friday. You're having a break. Right. Besides playing video games, what would you like to do in that spare time that you have?
Hang out with my friends. I've been getting back into reading recently. I started reading The Bad Girl by Mario Vargas Llosa at the recommendation of a friend. It's quite good.
Oh, very nice.
Watching movie and TV. Watching movie? What? I'm a writer.
Just a movie. Just watching The Room.
Movies and watching television and catching up on shows that I missed. I watched True Detective season 1 for the first time recently. It's good as fuck.
Yeah? Any good?
It's really good.
Yeah. I just finished Fahrenheit 451 not too long ago. That was I'm a fan of the classics and the dystopian 1984 that kind of.
That is a show. They did adapt that into a show, didn't they? Or a movie or something.
Oh no, I haven't watched the TV. I mean, reading the books. I haven't.
Fahrenheit 451's good. It's funny that Fahrenheit 451 is really good as a cautionary tale about censorship, because that's not what it was written as.
Yeah, I think I read a thing online that the author he went to a seminar at university that was discussing his book, and they were saying it was a book about censorship, and he was saying, no, it's not, I wrote the book, and no one believed him, and he just walked away.
Yeah, it's a whole conversation about death of the author and all that, because Fahrenheit 451 is it's a cautionary tale about television and radio. It's not a cautionary tale about censorship and government and stuff. Which is weird, because it reads so much better as a book about censorship.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, although I was quite disappointed how I bought the book and it was like a 60 years anniversary edition or something, like the new reprint of it. But like the last quarter of the book is just like the history of Fahrenheit 451 and all about the author, and I didn't know that.
So
I was reading through it, and it got to the bit where the book ends. I don't know, do you remember where it ends?
Yeah.
It got to that, and I thought, oh yeah, like we're only like halfway through the book, you know, this is gonna get great, and then it finishes. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, like that. I felt the story had just started to get going, and there's like another art, like a whole new half to the story yet to be told, and it just ended. I was
You
like,
got baited.
Damn it! I got so baited. Oh my god, I had no idea. But hey ho, that's what you get. With your channel, you have quite a large following on Twitter, and a lot of the time, people will send you tweets and messages with fan art that they've made. Is there a particular piece of art that you've adored that sticks in your brain? Is like, oh, I absolutely love that piece that somebody sent me.
The one I currently have is my Twitter avatar. I really, really, really like.
Yeah.
It's me doing the fucking Jonathan pose from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with like a part 2 cutaway color palette. It's super cool. I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh yeah. I think I've watched a couple seasons of that.
A couple full seasons.
It was
really?
good.
Wow. I feel like you would know.
I can't remember how many. I've definitely watched one season. I can't remember how many I had downloaded, but I feel like every season it gets camper and camper. Like it gets
I would
even
say
more
it
extreme.
gets from part 1 to part 2. That's definitely the case. Part 3, I think it takes a dip, and part 3 is the second worst part in my opinion. But
Oh dear.
yeah, and then part 4 is fucking incredible, and then part 5 is airing right now, and it's really good.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and watch those. I remember I watched some of it, but I definitely didn't watch all
Part
of it.
1 is kind of a barrier to entry. Part 1 is easily the worst part. I talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure so much to everyone I know. I don't want to talk about it here. I won't ever shut up about it. I feel like I'm annoying to all of my friends ever since I started watching JoJo's.
I'm with my friends. I'm like, you have to watch One Punch Man. Just go away. It's on Netflix.
Have you watched Mob Psycho?
Go watch One Punch Man. Oh, I love that
Mob
so
Psycho
much. Yeah, I love the intro.
Mob Psycho
I love the
is
intro.
way better than One Punch Man.
Yeah, it is good. It is
Mob
really
Psycho
good.
is
I think season 2 is coming out in
Season
April.
2 is out.
Maybe.
Are you talking about One Punch Man or Mob?
One
Punch Man season 2 I've heard is bad from people who have seen it in advance. It's in a different studio. It's not Madhouse.
Oh dear. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, God. But Mob Psycho 100, the second season's out?
Bones.
Okay, right. I don't think I've seen the second season. I've definitely seen the first season.
Of
I can't
Mob
remember.
Psycho is probably the best thing that I've ever seen.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I
Oh,
would say
jeez.
so. I would say that
Okay.
is the best show
I'm
I've
gonna write that
ever
down.
seen at this point, probably.
I'm going to write that down, even though I always misspell psycho. There we go. I'll watch that later. There's one question I wanted to ask you after going through your videos. This question I imagine most people are waiting with bated breath for the answer for. What did your mom think of Outlast 2? Because you made the video for her on Mother's Day, but I don't think you ever said what your mum actually thought
I don't
about
think
it.
my mom gave a my mom. God, no, my mom. I don't think my mom ever at any point gave a shit about Outlast 2, regardless of the video. But she loved the video. She cried when she watched it. Yeah.
Oh, because that's a little message at the end.
Yeah, very sweet.
Oh.
I say about myself. No, I wanted to do something fun and clever for Mother's Day, and she watches my videos and she's very supportive. So I wanted to show my appreciation that way.
So you managed to make your mum cry with Outlast, but not in the way intended.
Yeah, I made her have a big wholesome cry about Outlast.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah.
And when you're editing your videos, do you have like a little folder on your computer designed for images of owls and their reactions that you can just snap to?
Well, all of my videos, every single owl that I'm using currently is the same owl that I have explicit permission to be using for the videos. Initially, I was just ripping them from Google Images and from Twitter because I found Japanese owl Twitter, and they just post pictures of their pet owls, and they're great. But then the actual species of owl, and a lot of people probably didn't even fucking notice this, but the species of owl was constantly changing. It was very inconsistent. And also that's not legal. So I wanted to be above board, and I found out that one of my someone who watches my videos has a pet owl who is a Cape Eagle owl, and most of the owls that I was using prior to that were either great horned owls or Eurasian eagle owls. So a Cape Eagle owl looks.
Well, you got me there. I'm gonna have to trust you on that
Cape Eagle
one.
owl looks close enough to those for it to not be a jarring switch. And so the most recent video is the first video I've done, because I've been slowly transitioning into this for a few videos now. It's the first video where every single picture was of that owl. That owl's name is Nelson, so I'll just say Nelson.
Okay.
Every single owl
Nelson,
in the video is Nelson, and the owner just takes him out and takes some more pictures of him every once in a while. So I can have I can add to my owl folder, which is my Nelson folder, which is what it is now. It used to be an owl folder, now it's a Nelson folder, which is good.
So he gives Nelson like a bottle of whiskey and says, "Okay, stay still." Takes a picture.
No, I have to add in the whiskey.
Oh, okay.
Nelson is a much more functional person than I am.
And with your channel going forward, are there any milestones that you've set yourself? Because I don't know what metric you use to gauge your progress, if you are measuring your progress, but would it be by subs or views or backers, or is there a way you're measuring
mostly subs and views. Backers, well, I'm doing a big old change. I'm changing my Patreon pretty substantially, or not, I mean fairly substantially, and I'm going to make a big update video about that in the coming weeks. I'm making some changes to how it works, and my initial Patreon video, I made a decision that I'm kind of really torn on when I made the original one, where I did it in character, and it's very sarcastic, and on rewatch I'm like, this is kind of like arrogant. this
a bit
this
dry.
is really, this is because my whole thing was Patreon videos are always fucking boring. I want to make one that's funny, and like at the moment I was like, hell yeah, best Patreon video ever, and then I watch it back and I'm like, sounds incredibly fucking awful and arrogant and super up my own ass, like regardless of whether or not I'm in character or if that's actually me, which going back I've got really mixed feelings about that. So when I make the update, I'll probably just do it out of character, and that'll be the first out of character video I've done since I started doing the reviews. Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh.
So I'm changing the way I do my Patreon, and that's obviously, I don't gauge my success by number of backers. I don't really gauge my success by any number specifically, but when it comes to milestones, I usually mark milestones by subscribers, because that's just an easy number to use. Because anyone can get a lot of views if they fucking clickbait and they do flavor of the month shit. And I try not to do that, and I it's nice to me that I'm able to get views well without trying to do any of that stuff. And I also made an active decision pretty early on. It's to never ask anyone to subscribe. I never ask anyone to subscribe. I don't want subscribers who had to be told to do it. If I want my subscribers to be people who liked my videos enough to do it on their own. I don't like any of that YouTuber into video stuff where it's like, you're gonna like the video, comment, blah, blah. No, if someone likes the video, they'll like it. If someone wants to leave a comment, they'll leave a comment. If somebody liked the video enough that they want to see more, they will subscribe. And that is very much my philosophy on that. I do not like that shit at the end of videos. So when
I think I've actively seen you like tell people to unsubscribe.
I have done that,
if I recall correctly.
I've told people to turn off their Twitter notifications for me because I think they're idiots for having that. No, I don't like doing any of that shit. But subscribers, the next big one is 500,000 for me. I'd like to hit 500,000 before the end of the year. That'd be nice. I want to put out 7 videos this year is I think the number that I set myself, which sounds
okay,
which is low for most people on YouTube. It really is, but I want to put out stuff that I'm really proud of and really happy with. So I want to.
And how many have you done this year so far?
Shut up. This one I'm working on right now is a big project. I've got a small project in the pipeline after this one. I'm gonna be fine.
Okay. The Patreon one doesn't count.
I know. It'd be so nice if it did, but it doesn't.
Oh, dearie me. And if there's somebody who's listening to this chat we're having now, say they're an up-and-coming YouTuber or they want to get involved in the game, do you have any advice for them? Any ways, anything you'd like to say to them when they're starting off that this is what you should do to get your foot in the door, to have your best foot forward?
The best advice I could give is to watch Mandy's video about it, because Mandy put out a video recently about that covers everything really well, I think.
A few weeks ago, wasn't it?
A few weeks ago. I would just say watch that. That's going to be more. That's more succinct, and it's going to give you better insight and advice than something I can come up with off the top of my head right now.
Okay. Could you ask me the same question, please?
What advice would you give to anyone who's trying to be an up and coming YouTuber?
Thank you for asking, Shammy. Well, personally, from my experience in the past of my huge YouTube channel and my professional career, I found that bribery works particularly well. And what I'm doing for this chat is I have a spare game key that I'm going to be giving away for Emilio, I think it's called. I haven't played it. It's on Steam. It's apparently good and it's cheap. So if people want if people want it, let me know. So leave. I was going to say leave a message in the comments, but that sounds gross. Like, this sounded better in my head.
No, I when I say I hate that YouTuber shit, I mean I don't like doing it. I don't care if other people do.
Yeah, no. But I was thinking I'll do this joke like before we started recording, and in my head it sounded funny. But now me asking for people to comment down below just sounds gross.
Sound like a YouTuber, bro. You're on your way.
Oh God! Well, I've said it now, so right, I've got a key. Leave a message, whatever. I don't care. Oh, I feel awful. I shouldn't say that now, but whatever. Who cares? Okay. That went way better in my head than it did. It sounds so scummy.
Nah, you sound fine.
Okay. Okay. So to end, I think we're going to end this in a second, but I'd like to ask you one last question, if you don't mind. And that is, could you please tell us a story about an assault rifle?
Oh, I forgot that I said I was going to do that at the beginning. Okay, so it's no transition into this, but whatever. So my family, I live in Texas, and basically my entire family lives in the South. They live in Texas or Louisiana. I don't think there's anyone who lives anywhere but those two places. But so there was, I don't know how many people remember the hurricane that came through Texas a couple years ago, year ago, whenever.
What aggressive female name did it have?
I don't remember. I'll be honest. There's so many hurricanes here. I kind of lose track.
Okay.
What was this? Hang on. Houston flood hurricane Harvey. It was a male name. You sexist.
Oh. It's usually like Barbara or something.
It was Harvey. So Harvey came through and it flooded the fuck out of Houston, which is where I live. And I went to my mom's place after the flood happened. And my mom and my stepdad are very pro Second Amendment. And so after I drive over, I have to take this really roundabout route to avoid all the floodwaters. But I get there all right. And I walk in the front door because it's unlocked, and in the foyer, there's there's an AR-15 leaning against the wall with a bayonet and jungle mags. You know what jungle mags are? It's when you take two magazines and you duct tape them together, one upside down.
Like Black Ops.
Yeah, like Black Ops. So for tactical reloading.
So they Black Opt an AR-15 with a bayonet.
And the AR-15 was there's a picture of it on my Twitter, like from ages ago. I can find that and I can send it to you. But awesome. No, so it's got a bayonet and it's got jungle mags, and I walk further into the house and I say, Mom, why is there an assault rifle in the foyer? And she went, I mean, it's because of the flooding, like we're worried about looters coming. And I'm like, the door wasn't locked and it's in the foyer, you know that if I was a looter, you just armed me, right? And then she went, well, and I look over, and in the kitchen on the island, there's another AR-15, also with jungle mags, also with a bayonet. And I'm like, what is this? The fucking is this Apex? Are you arming them so that they have a fair chance? And then I look around and there's like a fucking revolver on the coffee table, and there's like a handgun on the table next to the couch, and I'm like, what are you doing? What is this? What are you preparing for? There are 2 people living in this house right now. Why are there 4 guns out?
But how many looters are they expect are going to invade the house at one time
fucking...
that they need a jungle mag and a bayonet in case they run out of bullets?
Fucked. Like, it's fucked not only that, but it's fucked because every single room had at least 1 gun just out. Like, I walked throughout the house and my old bedroom had a gun out. I'm like, no one's here. Why are you putting guns in here? Like, my mom's house was the hot drop. Like, that's the hottest drop on the entire map. I don't understand.
Oh my god.
I still don't understand why one was in the foyer. Are you hanging in the foyer? Like, if you're in the foyer and you see someone coming in, surely you have time. Like, surely you should either be keeping that gun on you, or you have time to get to the living room.
Yeah, quick run to the foyer.
Like,
there's an
to
invader.
The fucking revolver on the ottoman. Like, you should be fine, I would imagine.
Oh god, when we worry about security at home, we just put a bolt on the door.
Maybe lock the door
apparently.
if you're that worried about it. Maybe try to prevent people from getting in instead of preparing for a death match when they do.
Good thing you stepped over the tripwire line.
Thank God. Thank God I stayed on the fucking... Thank God I stayed on the driveway and I didn't walk on the grass. Who knows what would have happened.
Oh god, and with that I think it's time to end. Shammy, thank you very much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for having me on.
And hope to hear from you soon.
It was fun. It was good.
Cheers.